Hey there everyone, and I thank you guys so much for tuning in to yet another episode of my orchid adventure. And in this episode, I'm going to be updating you on the blooms in May. Now, unfortunately, I do have to tell you I did miss out on a lot of the blooms, especially the bulbophyllums, which of course you guys know they don't last too long. They only last perhaps a week, 2 weeks at the most. If you don't catch them while they're hot, you're not going to catch them at all. And unfortunately, I did not. So I hope you still enjoy the leftover of my orchids, and it did teach me quite a lesson. So let's go ahead and jump into it now. This is my update and tour of my orchids in bloom. And the very first one on our list is this Vanda denisoniana crossed with a Madame Kenny crossed with a Tessellata. And this medium-sized Vandaceous orchid right here has a very beautiful bloom, beautiful in its coloration, and also beautiful in the formation. And the beautiful coloration of this Vanda right here is a striking yellow color. Now, as it opens up, you are going to see that cheery yellow, but as they get older, you're going to start seeing a prominent tinge of orange as well. And if we take a look at the actual tongue and the lip itself, you are definitely going to see somewhat of a salmon color right there. And within the center, you're going to notice that white. And if we take a look in the center of the throat area, that wonderful burst of orangey yellow right there as well. And if we take a closer look at the actual bloom formation right here, you are definitely seeing the traits of the denisoniana. You cannot deny its feature. Indeed, you are seeing the curvature, the frill, and the ripples on this Vanda, definitely giving it quite a nice shape and formation. Also, if we take a close look at the actual petals just to see the pattern, you are also seeing that hint of Tessellata in there as well. Definitely, this is shining through that tessellated pattern. So this, with the combination of the denisoniana, indeed makes this orchid such a cheery and shining orchid right here. Again, beautiful coloration, beautiful form, and did I forget to mention such a wonderful fragrance as well. Very beautiful Vanda right here. And this very nice sized Renanthera right here is a Calsum Jumbo. And I do have to admit, I am very fortunate to be capable of capturing the blooms because indeed it is on its last legs. So it is beginning to fade. So very happy that we could capture its beautiful and very tropical bloom. Now, do you see the amazing formation of the petals on this blossom right here? Very gorgeous, very unique, and has quite a tropical appearance. And the actual bloom spike on this Renanthera is actually almost 2 feet long, believe it or not. So with that long of a spike, you know there has to be an abundance of blooms. And this actually can bloom about 20 to 30 blossoms on that long spike. And the colors of this Renanthera, I have to tell you, is quite an amazing, true and rich and fiery red. Indeed, such a wonderful and beautiful color. And as we take a look closer into the tongue and the lip area, you can also see such a nice pattern in there as well with that yellow and that red. You're also seeing a slight striation in there also. Nice pattern in the center. And if we take a look at the top of the petals, you're actually noticing some splotches. Quite a pattern on there also. Very beautiful Vandaceous orchid right here. Quite a nice size inflorescences. And again, look at all those amazing, beautiful blooms that you will get. Quite an amazing orchid. And can I share with you one more thing about this Renanthera right here that is so amazing? Well, not only do we have this one spike right here, but if we take a look here also, you are seeing a second spike. So indeed, double the pleasure and double the beauty on this Renanthera. And this Vanda right here, I am so very excited about. Now, this is an unfortunate story because I don't actually know what it is. The actual tag broke off. How unfortunate. Boo-hoo. I'm telling you, I am so disappointed. But lucky for me, I did get this from Stuart of Mainly Vanda, who is a good friend of mine. So I will be finding out exactly what this is because I got to know. Now, the unique thing about this Vanda right here, you're not going to see too many Vandas with this type of coloration. Because indeed, if we take a closer look, you are going to notice somewhat of a lavender color, a greenish color, and maybe somewhat gray as well. Indeed, quite a unique color in this Vanda. What I also love about this Vanda is that little balloony lip right there. Almost reminds me of an upside down bunny balloon. How amazing. Very nice addition to this Vanda. And I have to tell you, this Vanda right here is so fragrant. Somewhat of a candy-ish smell. Definitely reminds me of bubble yum bubble gum. Do you guys remember that? Definitely such a delicious fragrance this Vanda has. Now, let me tell you exactly what I do believe this is crossed with. I believe this is crossed with a Neo-Phoenicia fulcata and also a tessellata, and I will explain to you why. Because if we take a very close look at the petal, you can see a slight veining in there. Definitely a tessellated pattern right there. It's very light, but you can see it. So that's one of my reasons I believe that this may be crossed with a tessellata. And if we take a side profile view of this blossom, we will actually see that it has a pretty long nectarine. Now that is where the moth or the butterfly would stick its tongue and get the nectar from. And this is also called a spur. Now that is why I believe this could be crossed with a Neo-Phoenicia fulcata, because your normal blooming Vandas normally don't have a spur quite like this. But regardless to what it is, you cannot deny how beautiful this Vanda is. Quite exquisite. And do you guys remember this Vanda right here? Well, you should, because last month this beautiful Vanda was in bloom, and this month it is again. Indeed, this is quite a prolific bloomer. This is the Vanda denisoniana crossed with the insignis. A Vanda that is highly fragrant day and also night, and also a very prolific bloomer. I mean, you really can't beat that with an orchid bat. So if you ever get a chance to get a Vanda denisoniana crossed with an insignis, I suggest you jump on it like right away. And will you take a look at this very beautiful lime green and yellow Vanda right here? This is the Vanda Moats Honey Bun, and indeed it is so very beautiful and so sweet. And right here we do have a Neo-Phoenician fulcata, but as you can see, we're only left with one more bloom. Unfortunately, I did not capture all of the blooms, but if we take a look right here, you will see how dainty and how well formed this blossom is. Definitely a unique looking blossom and such a long spur right there. Definitely an attractive feature of this orchid. And the actual orchid blossom itself has such a strong fragrance of jasmine. Indeed, quite a delightful scent. And right here, folks, is the very famous species Phalaenopsis. This right here is the Phalaenopsis bellina, and this is actually the alba variety. If we take a look into the petal, we are definitely going to see the alba colors in here, that very pristine white, and also on the rims and the ridges of the flower, you can also see that very lime pastel green as well. And taking a close look into the throat area, you are seeing that bright burst of yellow right there. Indeed, quite a very beautiful and fragrant bloom. This actually smells somewhat of a lemony fragrance, but definitely has that floral, definite classic smell as well. Such a beautiful species, fowl, and one of my favorites. And if we take a look right here, this spectacular Mimi Palmer cross, this Cindy Banks Bill choice, has come into full bloom. So spectacular is her pattern and definitely her fragrance as well. And right here is yet another blooming Vanda. This was a recent purchase, and yes, it did come to me in bloom, but I didn't want to miss out on showing you such a beautiful Vandaceous orchid. This is the Janine Cedron crossed with a Tessellata. And if we take a close look at the colors, let's go ahead and do that now. Now this Vanda right here has quite a beautiful color. It's a pinkish, purplish, very pastel color, similar to a salmon pink actually. And if you could tell, there's a little slight variation in the colors of the petals. Definitely some areas where it is lighter and some areas where it is darker. And if we take a look at the formation of the petals, there's definitely separation between the petals, and you can kind of see almost a star shape. Quite a beautiful and lightly fragrant blossom right here. And what I believe is a great attractive feature of this Vanda orchid right here is its growth habit. You definitely see that nice curvature in the way that it grows. And if we also take a look at the length of the leaves as well, definitely quite a beautiful feature of the foliage in the way it just cascades downward. Definitely a beautiful feature and makes this orchid quite stunning and such a princess. Definitely love this new one. And this right here is the Tessellata. This is the India variety that I showed you last month. And last month she was in bloom, and guess what? This month she is in bloom again. That's right. Oh my gosh. In bloom again. I didn't say in spike. I said in bloom. Can you believe how fast that the spike and the blossoms develop and then bloom so quickly? Just quite incredible. And it indeed gives a whole new meaning to what a prolific bloomer is. And I've had several bulbophyllums in bloom. As you can see right here, this one is in bud, and this particular plant actually had 3 in bloom, but now they're spent. So I'm not going to be able to show you that one, but I do have another bulbophyllum right here that is somewhat still in bloom. So definitely, yeah, at least we were able to capture one. And oh me, oh my, what a spectacular view from where I am standing. If you guys look, this Vanda bloom right here is so very stunning. Now the Vanda bloom is only about 2 inches in diameter, but as you can see, so many blooms on this spike, it definitely makes up for the size. I am counting about like 15 or 16 blooms on here. Definitely spectacular, a legion of beautiful blooms. Quite stunning, has me mesmerized every time I look. And I have to tell you, this Vanda right here surprised me with such a deep, wonderful, and very rich color. Now, to my understanding, even as deep as this burgundy red is, when it becomes a little bit older, you will actually begin to see a tinge of orange, and you will have quite a spectacular variation of colors within this bloom spike. So indeed, quite a beautiful process this Vanda bloom does go through. Now let me go ahead and show you my most favorite feature of this bloom, and you tell me if you see exactly what I'm seeing as well. So let's get a close-up of the tongue. And I have to say, this is a very unique looking tongue in the regards that it definitely has that split right there. But not only does it have that split right there, it also has the shape of a fishtail. And actually it looks like a little mermaid's tail. So let's take a look at what I'm talking about. Look at this. Look at that. There it goes, just waving its little mermaid tail. How wonderful and very fun. I definitely believe this is one of my favorite features of this very unique orchid right here. Indeed, just quite a stunning and breathtaking Vanda right here. And that is it, and that's all, folks. That was the only blooms I was able to capture for this month, but indeed, there are so many in spike again, so stay tuned for next month's bloom update and tour. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to stay tuned to my videos, please be sure to subscribe. Join me on Facebook at My Orchid Adventures. And if you want to write me or send me something, you can do it at the address below. Thank you guys so much, and you already know I do love you guys all.